So we're back here again to install the intercoolers on the VR4. I have all the piping laid down on the ground with all the couplings and the clamps. So I've been looking at this and I've been noticing that there's a lot of things in the way that needs to be moved first before we get the piping in.
That's what she said! Woo!
For example, we have the coolant reservoir, that thing right there, that's currently in the way. And we have another piece underneath the car that's also in the way. And I'm also wondering if the pipe will be able to fit through there. We'll see right now, see how it goes. So here we are back with the VR4 build. Unfortunately, I didn't document most of the progress. The front turbo hot pipe is already installed, as you can see. There's the turbo. You see the blue coupling? That's already strapped up and everything. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to undo it because I realized I have an extra coupling specifically for that one, and I used one of the old stock ones, so I have to do a swap real quick. You guys may not know this, but you'll be needing to remove this evaporation canister. You'll be needing to remove it. It's currently resides right there, and one of the bolts seized, so I had to drill it to remove it. That's why you see all the metal shavings underneath there. Another thing you need to remove is a coolant reservoir. And unfortunately, these two things will not be able to sit exactly where they used to be, so you'll be needing to relocate them. And by relocating them, you'll also need to buy new vacuum lines, because this little apparatus, I'm not so sure what it is. I need to do my research. You'll need to get new vacuum lines, like I said, and get longer ones to put them where they need to be relocated. Most likely these two things, this and that, the evaporation canister and the coolant reservoir, will reside where the battery used to be. Seems like a good location since that's a big gaping hole in the middle engine bay. Another thing you'll be needing to remove is the oil cooler. This thing, unfortunately, they say you can keep the stock oil cooler, which I highly doubt. We'll see in a little bit to see if that's true or not, because this pipe, if you're connecting to that pipe through a cufflink, right there, like so, like that, and then the other pipe will be connecting to this pipe right here. And I'm wondering if the oil cooler has clearance through there. You see the rear hot pipe has been connected. I kind of tightened a little bit the cufflinks to make sure that nothing slips out of place, because it is extremely hard to mount everything together without tightening it and at the same time keeping it loose. Because if it's too loose, everything falls out of place, and if you make it too tight, nothing falls into place. So it's a fine balance between tight and loose, and it's just a nightmare. The coal pipes, this one, these two, well, yeah, there's just one because this becomes two into one. It's already completely strapped up, fully tightened. And the older coal pipe right here is connected to that coal pipe. So this one will be coming attached to that soon, in which this one gets connected to this pipe, in which it goes to the throttle body. Pretty simple, but it's a lot more complicated than you guys think. Word of advice, guys. Word of advice. Always wear gloves, because I was working underneath the car to take off part of the subframe, which is this piece right here. As you can see, it's extended all the way across over there. It's a huge metal pipe. And unfortunately, when I took it off, my hands touched the side of the engine bay, and I failed to realize that there's acid on the sides of the engine bay, and I currently have minor acid burns on my hands. It's not pleasant, especially not in dry weather, because what acid does is it dissolves the very top skin of your layer, exposing it, and it's more prone to dryness and cracking. So in this dry weather, it makes it even worse. So it came to the point where I don't know if you guys can realize this, but I'm bleeding from my hands just by moving them, just by opening and closing them. So guys, safety first, always wear gloves. So you guys have been asking yourselves, what about the intercooler? Well, it's already mounted. It's this bad boy right here. Dual core intercooler, like I was saying. It stays separated, gets cold separated, and then gets united, like I said in my previous video. In addition to all this, you're gonna have some mounting brackets. This one, that one, and this one. Unfortunately, 3SX, well, I'm sorry, CX Racing does not provide you with bolts and nuts and washers. So yeah, you're gonna have to go to the hardware store for that. You're gonna need something to bolt the bracket onto these little brackets on both sides, and then you're gonna have hardware to bolt brackets onto the frame of the car. You're also gonna need to drill holes in here and here to support those brackets. Now, my intercooler is centered, which I have no problem with. It's perfectly fine. It's a little bit uneven, but it's no big deal. I can fix that later. So guys, we're back. So you can hear right now the fans are running. I have the fans directly connected to the battery. That's going to be one of my next projects, is to fix the fans inside the car. Well, as you can see, all the intercooling piping, the hot pipes are installed. The cold pipe over here is installed as well. My blow-off valve is inserted already. This thing sounds so amazing, you guys are gonna hear it right now. So I'm gonna start the car up. Guys, I forgot to show you the intercooler. It's fully mounted. I know it took me a couple weeks to install this, but it was mostly because of the rain. And I was also waiting on parts, like for example, the flange to get welded to the cold pipe took maybe 2 extra weeks compared to the rest of the piping. I thought it was going to give me enough time, maybe a couple days after the intercooler came around, but it took weeks. So that was a huge delay on my part. And then when I finally got it, it started raining, so I couldn't work because obviously I'm outside. You guys want to hear the blow-off valve? Here we go. Fucking love that sound. Woo! Can't wait to tune this baby. Well, unfortunately, guys, this video didn't have much content of me working on the car. So one of my plans is to get a GoPro and strap it to my head, and therefore you can see what I'm seeing. So I'll be able to make fast forward clips with ease, because it's hard to hold a camera that weighs about 5 pounds and work on a car with my other hand. And it'd be best if I have a camera on my head, that way you can see my point of view, and it'll be easier for you guys to understand and to see what I'm working on. So hopefully within the next video I'll have a GoPro and you guys will see what I see. Peace.